enough, considering that we have seen the move on yuan as well?
No, we have not seen any notifications so far. Just to say,
this is not official yet. This is not official yet, Mr. Rao. But Reuters is saying that it's come, and maybe the notification should come at any point now.
Yeah, even assuming 2.5% duty will come, now we have to look at the imports which are coming into India, close to 1 million ton per month, which is annualized 12 million ton. Out of that, 40 to 45% is from Japan and Korea, where the duty increase has no impact. So it continues to come at a concessional rate under the FTA, which is around 1%. So there is no impact as far as those imports are concerned. After the duty increase of 2.5% last time, in fact, the imports from Japan and Korea have gone up. They have gone up by 105% as far as Japan is concerned, and Korea by 49%.
Why is that, sir?
Because under FTA, the duty applicable on the Japanese and Korean imports into India is only 1% or less than 1%, 0.85 to be precise. So there is no impact as far as the FTA imports are concerned. So the duty increase, if at all it happens, it is applicable other than FTA countries like China.
Okay.
So it can go up by 2.5%, assuming that, whether it will have an impact. Last time when the duty went up by 2.5%, that is 7.5 to 10%, the prices Chinese companies have reduced by 5%. So there is no impact at all on the imports. It continues to grow. That is why in the last quarter, the imports from China went up by 49%.
Correct.
So that is why the industry is looking for safeguard duty, not the increase in duty. That may not have a major impact, even though it is a welcome step.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Mr. Rao. Thanks so much for joining in, Nigel, on this side. Mr. Rao, could you give us what is the price of landed steel if I'm importing it from China? What is that cost, and what is the current domestic cost, and what is the difference between both of them? Is it at around 20%? Is it at around 25%? Could you give us those numbers, landed cost of imported steel as well as domestic steel currently?
No, today, for instance, if it is a Japanese and Korean imports, which does not attract any duty or negligible duty, they are in the range of $360 C&F. That is the price at which the imports are coming. If it is Chinese companies, it is coming at $330 to $340. These are the numbers, import numbers. Compared to India, there is always the 10% difference because of the duty plus the extra charges which they have to incur in working capital in opening LCs, and also covering the dollar-rupee exposure. For that, there is a premium. That premium is to the extent of cost, additional costs which are involved in the imports.
Okay. So, Mr. Rao, just to get this clear, that despite this import duty, additional import duty of 2.5%, it's not going to impact anything coming in from Korea as well as Japan simply because of the FTA agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
Free trade agreement.
Okay. Can you just tell us what the safeguard duty is currently at this point in time, and if in case you want it applied, how much would you like it to possibly be raised to in order to protect yourself from Japan and Korea imports?
Safeguard duty today is zero as far as carbon steel is concerned.
Okay.
We have been representing to the government that the Indian steel companies are at a disadvantage by way of a non-moderatable taxes which we are paying in India, which is almost 27%. Plus the Chinese companies have tax rebates, export rebates to the extent of 13%. So it is 27 plus 13 is together is 40%. That is the kind of advantage which the foreign companies, foreign steel companies have relative to India. That is why we are seeking a 40% duty, safeguard duty. The second argument which we have been giving to the officials is that the local Japanese and Korean steel prices, let us say HR coil, is $500 per ton. Their export prices are $350 to $360. Again, there is a difference of $150 between their domestic price and export price. So if you take that into account, a 40% safeguard duty is reasonable and justified.
Right. Mr. Rao, but could you tell us when was the last time there was any kind of safeguard duty on steel? There is talk that in fact it would come for around 3 months, it could give some kind of relief, but what is the procedure to get this safeguard duty? We are speaking to a lot of industry experts and they are saying that in fact it's a really long drawn procedure. What's your take on that?
we have seen government swiftly acting whenever such exceptional situation arose in India. So let us say for a minute in the year 2000, 2004, when there was this exceptional situation, there was a floor price mechanism where $305 was the floor price stipulated by Indian government for any imports into India hot rolled coil. Similarly, in the year 2008 and 9, when the global crisis came in, they have introduced actual user condition on the steel imports. So there are different types of trade restrictions. Whenever dumping is happening into India, Indian government has acted in the past. So if you look at internationally, I have seen today several countries, including US, they have imposed safeguard duties and also anti-dumping duties, including India. So therefore, I think it is natural action by any country whenever there is a dumping of steel by other countries into that country.
Okay. All right, sir. So just to sum it up, the 2.5% is not going to be adequate enough in order to protect the steel industry at this point in time. Can we take that away from what the conversation is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rao. Thank you very much for joining in and talking to us. Nigel, thank you very much for joining in and talking to us as well and taking us through the likely scenario of an additional 2.5% hike in terms of the import duty on some steel products. Remember that CNBC TV 18 has been reporting this, that there is a likelihood of this to come about, but like industry said that yes, it could protect some amount, but we need something like a safeguard duty, which could be even a